Washington mornings on the Mall. At AM 630. WMAL. Government shutdown. Day 3. Continuing coverage on WMAL.
7:37 on Mornings on the Mall, and yes, we are continuing coverage of the government shutdown. At the top of the next hour at 8:05, we're going to tell you about the local closings here, how it's affecting the area, and we want to hear from you as well. How is it affecting you? How is your behavior modified because of the government shutdown? And then at 8:35, what better guest than Senator Ted Cruz from Texas? A lot of people say he started this whole thing. We'll talk to him. I'm Larry O'Connor alongside Brian Wilson.
Joining us now on the line is our good friend Stuart Varney from the Fox Business Network. Stuart, good morning to you.
Good morning, Brian.
I want to start out by playing this little clip yesterday. I play it because when I heard it, I got to tell you, Stuart, I was completely astonished. I think you know what I'm talking about. Here it is. Take a listen.
Wall Street's been pretty calm about this. The reaction, I would say, generally speaking, has been Washington fighting, Washington posturing, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Is that the right way for them to look at it?
No, I think this time's different. I think they should be concerned.
The President of the United States, in an interview, asked about Wall Street's reaction. For the first time that I can ever remember, Stuart Varney, he tried to rattle the cage of Wall Street and talk the market down. Can you ever remember anything like this?
No, I can never remember anything like this at all. And you were right. The President of the United States yesterday tried to talk Wall Street down. I think he wants a stock market meltdown. I think he believes that that would give him more leverage to get his way, either on the budget or the debt ceiling. Look, in my opinion, it's disgraceful. No sitting president should try to do that to our financial markets. To do that implies that you want this thing to come down. You want to shock the financial system because you want to get your way on the debt. That is outrageous. And by the way, the market is not reacting the way the president wanted it to react. I'll tell you now, the Dow Jones Industrial Average this morning will open down maybe 30 points. That's it.
I can't. It is for political purposes that he wants the market to react badly. People who've invested their life savings in the market will lose money so the president can score a few points.
It really shook me yesterday when I saw that. And I watched it. I watched it happen.
Yeah.
It was just a real outrage. I've never, ever seen anything like it before. Now, President Bush, after 9/11, he went out and said, well, get out there and spend some money.
Yeah.
That was trying to talk the economy up. That was trying to do some good, trying to buck the nation up in its dismay and despair after 9/11. This is totally different. This is a president trying to get the markets to go down, trying to make Americans lose their pension money, or at least some of it. It is absolutely outrageous. Never seen anything like this before.
Stuart Varney is our guest, of course, anchor of Varney & Company, Fox Business, weekdays at 9:20. I'm guessing this will be a major topic this morning on Varney & Company.
It's my lead, Larry.
As well it should be. Stuart, the other big story, of course, this week is the open enrollment began for Obamacare, and on October 1st. And I don't know if you saw this, where MSNBC, of all networks, had an anchor or a reporter trying to get on. Took her 30 minutes, sitting on hold. It was a disaster on television. We're hearing these stories everywhere. What does this tell you about Obamacare? Was it rolled out too early, as the Republicans in Congress have been warning?
It tells me that this is what you and I and everyday people face when we have to come face to face with a giant new government bureaucracy.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty. I watched that MSNBC appearance, so to speak, and you're right. They had to abandon their attempt to get onto these exchanges. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it via computer. They kept on getting these signs saying error message, or they could not go beyond the verification of personal information. They could not get through, could not log on. So then they tried the telephone. They're on hold for just over 30 minutes. Now, imagine if that's you or I. Do you think you've got the time or the patience to keep logging on, keep getting knocked off, keep calling, keep being put on hold? Have you got that kind of time and patience to spend on this kind of thing?
Well, of
and
course.
by the way, If you don't get insurance from your employer, you've got to do this.
Well,
you've got to get on.
That's the other point, Stuart Varney, is that in the real world, in the private sector, if your website and your phone bank and your company operates that way, you're going to go out of business because the customer can go elsewhere. But there is no elsewhere here.
That's right. That you have no choice. Well, you could pay a fine, I suppose.
Yeah.
But you have no choice. You really got to get onto these exchanges. And right now, most people cannot get onto these exchanges. I'm trying to source and track this down, but I've got a report that says only 1% of those people who tried to log on could actually log on and get insurance. 1%. Now,
right.
I've got to track that down. I've got to source that properly. But there's no question about it. Of those countless people who tried, very, very few actually made it through to the end.
Yeah, there have been
and
a number.
That was probably after a couple of hours.
Yeah, there really were a lot of reports suggesting that was the case. Okay, so bottom line this. How do we get out of this thing? What is the winning end strategy here?
The president starts to see that he is getting the blame for this shutdown or the debt ceiling crisis, that the public and the voters are turning on him and not Republicans. At that precise moment, you get a settlement. That's it.
All right.
Stuart Varney, always good to have you. You're right. It's cynical, but you're right.
I'm afraid it is. And I'm not a cynic by nature, but on this occasion, cynicism reigns, baby.
As usual, Stuart Varney.
Thank you, Stuart.
Right
Appreciate
on.